Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Rara. I'm a psychic medium and a channeler, and I also do healings through the art of Reiki. So in today's reading, we're going to be looking at what this full moon is bringing to the surface and what you're being asked to finally acknowledge, because this full moon is definitely not one for the weak. It's actually forcing you to see something that you've been avoiding, not to punish you, but to free you. So what are you being free from? So if any of the messages I do speak on today resonate for you, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's start there. So what's coming to the surface for you on this full moon? Partnerships and alliances. So there could be masculine and feminine evolving, but involve is what I was actually going to say. Involved. And it's almost as if the hands here are almost giving me the feeling of like maybe the masculine and feminine are holding on to each other, but things may be changing and separating, hence the flags behind them. You know, when people are waving the right flag and they're like, okay, I surrender. Maybe you're surrendering to the fact that things are changing with this masculine or with this feminine. So that's what I'm getting so far with this card here. And I also feel like there's been a promise that's been made, because I'm looking at this bracelet, and this bracelet almost gives me this feeling of like almost a potential promise ring or like a deep connection. So maybe you have a deep connection with this person, or had a deep connection with this person, or maybe even still have a deep connection with this person, but then again, things are changing. So even looking at the shadow of this, I would say this is the masculine's arm right here. Even these little markings, it shows me that this person maybe has a cultural background, or is maybe another culture, a different culture compared to you. But I definitely do feel that there is love here. So whatever this maybe surrendering, separation is all about, it definitely feels like maybe it's for the best. So what have you been avoiding? Okay, shadows, so shadow work. So maybe the fact that there is a masculine and feminine showing up here, I'm gonna move the cards because of this little glare here. But maybe the fact that there's a masculine and feminine, the shadow work that's coming in, it's what you've been avoiding. That's the subject here. What you've been avoiding is maybe the fact of the change that's happening, okay? So why does this feel so intense? Okay, so you guys are both changing, the directions are shifting, and it doesn't mean that you guys are not going to come back together, but maybe for the growth that you need to make, you guys need to make independently, so it's only happening for the best. So what happens when you see it clearly and you see this through? So if the universe is asking for distance and wants you to see that, okay, if we're telling you to create this separation in this moment of time, and you have to surrender to that so you can understand why we're doing this to you. When you see that clearly, you understand what the lesson and the message is here. Like, how are you gonna feel? Okay, so you're finally gonna feel like you're not creating any resistance, or you're not being responsible for something that you don't need to be responsible for. So maybe when it comes to this other person that you are letting go of, maybe you've been letting go of them because of the emotional weight that you started to feel within yourself, hence the shadow work that's coming up here. And your intuition's like, hey, you know it. You know that you can't be responsible for this person anymore. Maybe this person here is exhausting you, and you're exhausting yourself by allowing yourself to keep this person in your life. Okay, so the universe is basically saying, once you acknowledge the shadow work and what the full moon is trying to push you to see, is that when you do this, once you overcome and surrender to what they're asking you to, you're going to be recognized for that. And what will you be recognized for? Okay, you're going to be recognized. It's almost as, I don't want to say this and make it sound so wrong, but it's almost as if you're going to see the transaction that was happening in this relationship. Not saying that this relationship was a transactional one from the start, but maybe someone has been benefiting someone else more rather than it being reciprocated. Okay, so the deception and envy card here. And maybe that person needs to understand that they can't depend on you for what they've been depending on you for so long now, because it's time for you to give that energy back to yourself rather than allowing this person to utilize it for their own benefit. It's time for you to benefit from your own. So let's see what else the cards have to say. So let's see a little bit more about what's coming to the surface. Let's get more clarity on this relationship. Okay. So definitely feels like there's no regret here, almost as if this was a part of the path that you were meant to do this entire journey with this masculine or feminine energy. And I feel that you guys have succeeded together for the duration of time that you're supposed to. Okay. So you guys have reached a lot of success, and the success that you guys have reached might not have always been financial, and maybe if it was financial, maybe it was short-lived. And now that the financial part has been surpassed, as in what you guys were supposed to journey together with was maybe about the financial side. Now that that's passed, you guys are starting a whole new chapter, and you guys have created and planted seeds to learn from for each other. So it's almost as if maybe it could be a karmatic relationship, but in the end, this was going to bring you, this card of emotional withdrawal, it was going to bring you back to yourself anyways. Why? Because there was a lesson in this entire relationship the whole time. So let's look more into your shadow work and see if there's a little more clarity on the specifics of your shadow work. Okay, so light. So when I'm seeing this card, it's almost as if you're going through a darker time right now. So it's almost like there's obstacles and challenges through the shadow work, of course, right? Shadow work isn't always easy, but when you could acknowledge the brighter side of what this is bringing you to, what it's giving you is more faith. More faith where? In yourself. Because it feels like whatever's been going on here, the relationship that's, I guess, coming to the surface, there's dependence here. And the universe is just trying to bring you, the full moon is just trying to bring you to see this independence that you've always had within yourself. Now you can carry yourself without believing you need this other person, even if you love this other person, okay? And you want to do this with this other person. But the journey right now is to do it independently and see the strength that you have, see the resilience that you have. So let's see what the cosmic timing cards have to say. Okay. Timekeeper's Vigil. Guardian of moments. Sentinel of hour. Stand vigilant in your choice, for each decision shapes the legacy you leave behind. Practice responsibility. Consider long-term impact of your actions. Your choices ripple through time. Act with integrity and foresight. Sorry, I kind of butchered that in the beginning. It's like the words kind of blend in with the background. That's the only poopy part about these cards. So practice responsibility. So remember in the beginning, I was talking about the responsibility of this person, like it's no longer your time to be responsible for whatever it is. It's time to be now accountable for your own energy and emotions and stop sharing it to benefit the other person. So I definitely feel like this card is bringing that back to the surface. So Lunar Oracle. Moonlight whispers carry ancient wisdom. Listen closely to its guidance, for the moon knows its secrets of your soul and the path you must thread. Keep a dream journal. Pay attention to your dreams and the messages they convey. The moon's guidance is subtle and profound. Celestial Gateway. You stand at the threshold of cosmic opportunities. Tonight, gaze upon the stars and set your intentions. Each twinkling light is a promise of a path awaiting your steps. Take time tonight to stargaze, reflect on your aspirations, and set clear goals for what you wish to achieve. The universe is aligning you to support. The universe is aligning to support your journey. Okay. So I definitely feel like it's time for you to kind of just pave your own path, you know, like no distractions. Not that this person was a distraction, but just so that you can do it on your own, so that you can become more independent, so that nothing influences you on your choices just for now, okay? Because I feel like down the road, when you move past this shadow work and this lesson that the moon is trying to get you to understand what you've been avoiding, you've been avoiding the power that you've had in yourself for so long. Not that it was intentional, but it's because you were meant to learn, like, hey, you're not transactioning, but you were dependent, but now we need you to be independent in this state, in this time, in this being. Because I get it. We all go through this time where we are dependent. Like, you know, when we're growing up, we have to realize like, oh, I'm dependent. Even though I think I'm like I think I'm independent, you start to see, the universe starts to show you where you have your attachments in. So now let's look at the Lightworkers Oracle deck. And this deck I'm gonna read from the book once I choose a card for you, because this deck is always on point when it comes to the messages. So this card came through. We have, I don't want to butcher this word, paradigm shift. Huh. I might be just like so not in my vocabulary, but okay. You know what I mean? So by looking at this card though, it definitely looks like there's an open door. But the fact that there is like this cloud above it with this face, it almost looks like there's temptation. Temptation not to cross over to the other side. And maybe this is how it feels right now. Maybe it feels like this person has been nothing but comfort for you in the past. And now there's different opportunities because maybe there's just different choices that you guys have been making, and it's been shifting your path, like to separate yourselves to get from each other so that you guys can do your individual paths. And it's almost as if maybe someone's not truly on board with that. The other person might not be fully on board with that, but you're here, you're this person right here kind of looking up, and you're just like, but why? Like, I need to go through the door. Like, this door feels right. And this person above's kind of like, you know, kind of like giving you the scare. So let's look at that. So let's look at what the meaning says in the book. So the number for here is 4. I'm really annoyed that I couldn't read that word right. But don't make fun of me. Okay, so you are undergoing radical growth in your belief system. Now it is a time to challenge old attitudes and question previous expectations. You are in an extraordinary time. Great leaps forward can be made in a moment. The world you thought you knew can suddenly break open, and a new world can become your reality. Buddhists sometimes speak from the beginner's mind, that which assumes nothing and therefore is opening to everything. A spiritual psychologist might call this the inner child, as its innocence, curious, unfixed, and always learning. It doesn't get stuck on an answer having to be one way. There's an openness to an unknown with curiosity instead. If you feel that you don't really know yourself, your relationships, or your place in the world as you once did, if you are feeling that you once held to be certain now seems to be a little shaky, these are signs that you're going through a paradigm shift. This will bring you new perceptions that will free you to be the world in new ways. You'll find yourself shedding old limits, fears, and misconceptions. You are stepping beyond what you have known. What you've known, a bit like a traveler in a new city feeling awkward until she gets the lay of the land and how things operate in that new place. As you trust the unexpected and unknown, the universe will be able to help you in unexpected and previously unknown ways. So hopefully that resonates to you, but it definitely seems like don't be afraid to go through the shadow work. Don't stay in your comfort. I mean, it's definitely a new year. It's the first full moon of the year, and it's definitely trying to push you to the unknown, to the parts where you're uncomfortable in. And if this person has made you feel comfortable for a very long time, but maybe only because you've been scared to choose what your gut's been telling you that whole time, this doesn't mean it's forever. It just might mean it's for now, because this is for you. Maybe again, you've been giving a lot to yourself in the past, but now you have to see, like, sometimes what we think is an end isn't always an end forever. It's just a pivot, it's a change, it's an adjustment, it's a growth. So I hope this message resonates, and once again, if it does, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.